Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. My name is Rochelle, Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. What is Slay, y'all? Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. So as you come in on the show, okay, the Slay to Success Talk Show, please tell us where you're streaming in from. Give us some shout outs. All right. Y'all, I got a SLAYMAZING guest tonight. All right. And you don't want to miss any of this conversation that we're about to have. All right. You know, I look high and I look all the way down low, looking for someone that is using the Slay philosophies to make a positive impact in this world. And when I tell you, when I found this sister, okay, and we're sister in arms, y'all, because you know how we do. All right. Real recognizes real. And so we were attracted. And I was like, yes, queen. Yes, queen. We about to be on this show, okay, and have this conversation. So we've got Carol from on the YouTube side of the house, and from Farmville, North Kakalaki. All right. My family is from St. Paul's, Lumberton, Elizabethtown. So I know, again, that North Kakalaki, thank you so much for being here tonight on the show and being with us live. I really appreciate you. We appreciate anyone who decides to come in and just to listen for a hot second. We all know that football season is on and all the things. All right. But here we are on the show. And as your host, okay, I empower women professionals, women veterans, those that are seeking to elevate their image, their presence, their overall success to get to where they want to go. All right. And so I have a rebrand Bowley experience that's coming up. That's the QR scan code there at the top left corner. If you're interested, we're going to be there October 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And pretty much we're going to help each other to brand ourselves, because in this day and age, that's the way that we get what we desire and we deserve. So as your personal brand strategist, your professional speaker, if you will, I'm also a certified image consultant, a speaker, author of several books over here, y'all. That's all the branding that I have invested in. So after I retired, serving 30 years in the United States Air Force, So we've got, again, on the YouTube side, we have Decorious Vine 688 from Hampton, VA. Yes. All right. East Coast is in the building tonight. Thank you so much for being here with us, y'all. Okay. So for tonight, y'all, my guest, okay, like I said, this is of excellence. All right. Excellence, a service of excellence. And tonight, y'all, I have Kelly Smith. Okay. Now, Kelly Smith, she brings over 20 years of proven leadership from the battlefield to the classroom to Anne Arundel County Council District 1, which is the county that I reside in as well. And she is a decorated U.S. Army veteran who has served as a counterintelligence agent during Operation Iraqi Freedom and later as an intelligence research specialist with the U.S. Capitol Police during the January 6th crisis. Now, we all know that the January 6th crisis was something that was, I don't even know, it was viewed on TV, but that was something unreal. All right. And so she was there and she demonstrated courage under pressure and unwavering commitment to protecting our communities. Now, she's been an educator, y'all. She's pursuing her Ph.D. in educational leadership. All right. In her role as president of the local alumni chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, she is spearheading initiatives aimed at delivering support and services to residents throughout Anne Arundel County. All right. She has been with the Girl Scouts as a Girl Scout leader, or soccer coach, and volunteer with the PTSA. Now, she has all this, but really, y'all, what's she doing now? Okay. She is right now running for city council. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of this with Kelly as I bring her on the show. So please give a big round of applause and welcome my guest, Kelly Smith, to the show. Hey.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. How was your day today?
Today was okay. I was excited, looking forward to tonight. So kind of relaxed a little bit and I'm ready to have this conversation.
Yeah, I am in awe. I am just in awe of you, Queen. There's so much going on in this world, right? And for you to step up and still serve in excellence, right? Not just serving and being basic or any of that, right? This is of excellence. And do it in such a way where you are just poised with grace and grit. And, me just I'm not outsider looking in, Queen. But all I see is just so much that is going to come your way and for you. And so I just wanted to spend some time with you tonight to really get to know you, to share you with the audience, our community. We've got Adam Lee. He's over on the YouTube side as well from Madison, Alabama. So thank you so much for being here. Y'all, you're just showing so much love for Kelly tonight. Thank you so much for stopping in. Okay, so Kelly, tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll kind of get this, conversation rolling.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the show tonight, Rochelle.
You're welcome.
Where do we start? If we talk a little bit about myself, I guess that really starts from the beginning.
Yeah.
I came from a family of service. My dad is retired Air Force. Right? Yes, he is. So you all have that in common.
Yes.
My brothers were also in the Air Force as well.
Okay, yes.
I chose the Army. I chose the right service.
Here we go, y'all. Here we go.
I had to do it.
Yeah, you have to. Okay.
I had to do it.
You have to do it.
Yes, but my mother is an educator as well. And so just being raised in a family that was about family. They taught me how to care from a very young age. I grew up doing community service. We were in the church and we did things with our church as well. And so it really taught me the importance of family and giving back. Again, being in a military family in our area that we lived in growing up in Hampton, our family didn't live there. Like our extended family, a lot of them stayed in North Carolina. So it taught us how to reach out, depend on our neighbors, learn our community. And so I think that's where community really was ingrained in me, is supporting our neighbors, helping each other. And so I still do that to this day. And so, again, I have a very large family. They are across the United States. And let me tell you, I never feel alone. My family has supported me through everything. And so for me, it's just natural to want to give back and to support because that's all I know. I don't know anything different. It didn't matter where we lived, how far we lived. My family acted as though they lived next door and they would call, show up, jump on a plane. That's just what they do. And so just growing up in that type of family, I'm blessed. I can't say anything less. I am blessed to have had such a supportive family surrounding me. So, yeah. And then my friendship circle. Again, I've kept a lot of my friends, growing up. So I really can't complain. I had an amazing childhood, and that support led me to go to college. I graduated from East Carolina University with my undergrad in criminal justice. That's where I got my bachelor's in. And really, I think I went to college wanting to we think we know what we want, right? When we get to college, we're like, I was like, I'm going to be a physical therapist. That's what I want to do. Yeah. And I got there, and guess what? I started doing community service.
Really?
I did. I became a member of Sigma Gamma Rho in the fall of 1998. So it's been 27 years. And during that time frame, we were volunteering all over Pitt County, all over the area. And I started volunteering at a juvenile detention center. And I realized, you know what? there's more than I can, there's more, it just exposed me to the need of what our youth needed. They needed support, they needed care. So I changed my major to criminal justice. And so once I graduated, I ended up going to the Army. After I graduated, and I was a counter intel agent. I see my Adam Burkest. I saw him on the line from Madison, Alabama. Yes. So he was somebody that was stationed with me when I was in Augusta, Georgia.
Wow.
Yes, he was. And his wife is my best friend, my bestie pop, Miss Tasha Burkest. And so when I talk about my beginnings, again, being in the military, we had such a network, and I know you understand what that is like to have family when your family is not around. And so I kept my family; they're still here. People that I served with, relationships that I've built. They've been with me through ups and downs and families and all of that. And so I would like to say that really, I have just learned how to grow and give back because of the support that I have.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things in there, what you're saying is like so profound to me, right? Because there are not a lot of people who would say a life of service is something that you should do. Right. We're living in the times right now where it's all about self. Like people are into themselves. They're not even looking to what their neighbors got going on. And, it can be a little bit scary because they have distanced themselves, and you're so right. Like family support and being there and having family outside of your immediate family, that's a blessing. That's a blessing in disguise that, sometimes we may even take for granted, right? Because, they just been there and we're like, yeah, you just part of the family. Like, but it is the service. And so you like walking us through and telling us, hey, you had a great childhood, you had family of service, and then you joined your sorority, and they were always out, doing volunteer work. And then you changed your major, or you were like, nah, that's not what I really want to do. And then you went into the Army, right? And you spent how many years of service in the Army?
I did 4 years.
Yeah. And which is like a great way to understand more of the layers of service, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're now serving within the service. And so it's like a different type of service. So tell us a little bit about the skills that you may have acquired while you were in service.
Oh my goodness, what didn't I learn? I learned how to be flexible. I gained a lot of leadership experience when I was in the military. I learned how to adapt and overcome because things happen and there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that you can do is keep moving. Move on is really what it is. And I know sometimes when people are like, how do you keep moving? I'm like, I don't have another choice. You just have to keep moving. In the face of adversity, you got to keep moving. And so at the end, you'll finally get to where you need to go. So honestly, being in the military really taught me how to be flexible and how to just be kind to each other, just because sometimes you're in a space and you may not always like the person that's sitting next to you. But guess what? So you need the person next to you to survive. So just be kind. It doesn't cost anything because at the end of the day, that might be the person that saves your life. So, I learned how to, put aside whatever personal, feelings I have about certain situations or people and just be kind, whether whether you're my best friend or whether you're not. Just giving help to strangers and to others is what I really did learn when I was in the Army.
Yeah. So thank you for your service, first of all. And then, we've got several people who have jumped on that I do want to just shout them out for, spending some time with us. We have Tay Lorraine 2486, Anne Arundel, Maryland. All right. So our neighborhood friend here. We've also got Lindsay on the Facebook side. Okay. So I just saw her. She's watching in. So, hey, Lindsay, we see you. We know you're all present and accounted for. And then we have Crystal Allen over on the YouTube side. Ain't no family at the one I got. All right. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And we also have Savita Sutton. All right. She says, my ace. Okay. So, we've got, people in the building. My husband's also watching on the Facebook side. And then we got LaShawn from Durham, North Kakalaki. All right. Y'all know how to hold it down. All right. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight and really sharing Kelly with us because, she is just a gem. And I knew that she would just bring so much value to the show. We also got Samantha Wilson from North Kakalaki as well. So thank you so much for being here. Okay. So you went to 4 years of service in the Army. Okay, got Ashley in the building. Ashley Daniel says, we love you from Vegas. Okay. Like, y'all are showing so much love for Kelly right now. Like, I'm already tickled. This is so good. This is so good. So thank you so much for being here with us live tonight. And so, doing the 4 years of service in the Army, and then you go to the Hill. Okay. Now, this is what blew my mind because when I was at her launch party, right, y'all, and it was top tier. All right. It was all the way good in there. It was like she gave a great speech. She had great people who were speaking on her behalf. When she was sharing with us that she was a police officer, right, at the Capitol Hill, I was like, wait a minute. So, like, share a little bit about that experience. How did you get in there? Like, what was going on? And then you were there for January 6th, where, a lot of us were still in service. I was still in the military at that time, but you were there. So tell us a little bit about your journey in that space.
Okay, well, so I'll just clarify. I actually was a civilian with the U.S. Capitol Police. So actually, my husband, and I'll get in a little bit more into my family. He actually is retired as an officer, special agent from U.S. Capitol Police.
Wow.
But for me, I actually was a civilian intel analyst for them. 17 years with the U.S. Capitol Police, and that experience. Definitely being on the Hill taught me again. It worked with my leadership skills, being flexible because, as you all know, if you have visited Capitol Hill or if you have just watched the news lately, there is nothing. Everything is different every day. You're never going to have a day that is the same. It is always a new experience. It is not a job that is mundane. You're exposed to different people, different experiences. And so as an intel analyst, that is what I got to do. It was a wonderful experience. And it was different because it was a very unique position. Yeah. We weren't sworn. I worked in a skiff. I don't know how many of you all are familiar with what I know.
Tell them what the skiff, what the full name, because it's abbreviation.
It is, but what I'm going to tell you, it's going to go over some folks' head, but I'll explain what it is because that will help some of the viewers out there. When you work in a skiff, it is a top secret location, and basically that is where we disseminate top secret information. You have to have tons of clearances to even walk back there in the first place. And so it's not one that I'm typically, with the public. I didn't have to necessarily interface with the public because we were in a location where we did a lot of investigations. A lot of information is held in that room. And a lot of times those skiffs don't have windows, y'all. But fortunately, we were on the 6th floor and had the ability to at least look out. But typically, skiffs do not have windows. And I have worked in some of those.
Yeah.
So it was actually a bonus to be able to at least have light come through. But having that experience, really is sometimes a little difficult to explain, just or even articulate what that was like.
Yeah.
Because there were so many officers on the front line that day. The unexpected happened. And so again, that day it was all hands on deck. No matter what your job position or what you did on Capitol Hill, everyone had to respond in some way or some capacity. Um, the remnants of that day is still prevalent. As you all can, see the news, there a lot of things are still prevalent after that day.
Mm.
It does not end just because January 6th happened. It came, it went, and we are still dealing with it. And it's just because people had differing views. And
Yeah.
so when that happens, you have to adapt and overcome. And that's what all those officers did that day,
Yeah.
when they were fighting to protect the U.S. Capitol and everybody within there. So my hat's off to everybody who was on the ground and actually having to physically, support, all the members and everyone on the Hill. But that day, I think, affected everyone, even if you weren't there.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
watching it.
definitely.
Yes, I have heard so many stories of how that affected people. And when people hear where I work, they still are just like, oh my goodness, that is literally the first response I get. But fortunately, I was able to retire after that. And that's kind of pivoted me into this journey where I am now. So
Yeah. Again, thank you for your service up in there. Listen, y'all, I mean, this is just a eye-opening of service that that level. And yeah, January 6th was one of those moments in our history where I'd never even think that that would even happen. And then to watch it, and then you were actually there. So I thank God that he protected you, covered you. Was your husband at the time? Were you guys married?
he was retired at the time.
Okay, he was
He had
retired.
just
Okay,
yes, he had just retired at the time. So he wasn't on the
yeah,
ground, but of course, all of his colleagues and so forth
yeah,
were there as well. So it definitely affected our family greatly.
yeah. Well, we got a couple of people here. Glenroy, good evening. He is fresh from a soccer tournament for both of his boys. He was out there since 07:30. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we know it's 12 hours of soccer. We love that you're here and that you're listening in. And he put down Skiff for the folks that, may not be familiar. He is also retired served in the Air Force as well. And we actually served together when we were in Vegas.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's a sensitive, compartmented information facility for anyone who wants to know what that term stood for. And then we've got Daddy Earl and Mama Lois from Hampton, Virginia. They are so proud of you and they love you. Hey, Mom, Dad, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here with your daughter. Your daughter is not amazing. She is SLAYMAZING, okay? And so thank you so much for allowing us to share her with the world, if you will, on tonight's show. And we got Glenroy saying watching January 6th unfold on television was a live action movie. Yeah, and you're saying that there's still the remnants or the after effects from that. And that'll probably be on and on for many years to come, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So now, like the Girl Scouts too was a very interesting part of what you were sharing. Girl Scout leader. And I was a Girl Scout. I started out as a brownie. That's what y'all start out, right? We start out as brownies and then we move up. And so I know you have a heart for Girl Scouts. So can you share a little bit about your experience with the Girl Scouts and what that also did for you and how it shaped what you are doing now? And we'll get to now here in a minute.
Okay. Absolutely. So what I will say is And all of the time, and no matter what job I was in, I again did community service. Usually my service surrounded where my life was at in that moment. And so when my girls were in Girl Scouts, they actually started as daisies.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Yes, they
daisies.
started
Yes.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
They start them early.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my daughter needed a troop leader. My youngest daughter, they needed a troop leader, and they were like, "Hey, we need somebody to, take the lead. We've got all these young ladies that are interested, but we don't have a leader because the leader aged up and went with the group of girls." And so she was in first grade, and I said yes. I gave a yes. I was like, fine, it can't be that hard. I did not know that journey was going to last almost 14 years. It did. That one yes was not a 1 year yes. It was a 14-year gig that I did not know I was going to have, and I am so grateful for it.
Yeah.
I am. We talk a lot about Girl Scouts because one, it is life-changing for some people. If you utilize what the Girl Scout values and the mottos are, it can be life-changing. And so I said, one thing that I will always say, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it with everything I have. And
That's
so
right.
I don't like to have to do anything.
Right. Well, that's a parent. Yes.
If I'm only gonna half do it, I try not to do it at all because that's just a waste of time. But as a Girl Scout leader, we ended up having one of the largest Girl Scout troops in Central Maryland. We at one point had about 35 girls at one point. It didn't, I think out of a need, our Girl Scout troop ended up being all girls of color. Because what ends up happening is typically once girls get out of middle school, it's not cool to be in Girl Scouts anymore. It is not. It is not the cool thing to do to say, I am a Girl Scout.
Look, I'm the one I can agree with that because I think I stopped at that point. So yeah,
that's the normal. But I was like, listen, let Girl Scouts support whatever your goals and whatever your dreams are. And so what we ended up doing was and by the way, I was a Girl Scout as well. I still have my Daisy and my Brownie uniform. No, my Brownie and my junior uniform. I still have it in great condition.
Wow.
But I told the girls, if we're gonna do this, and I used to tell the girls, let's do it with everything that we have. And so I realized that my girls didn't like the uniforms. So we made our own. The girls designed their own t-shirts, and I said, you know what? Uniform is as long as we all look alike. And so I would allow them to create something that was comfortable for them. And so when we walked in a room, we had our custom shirts that we would make every year. And a lot of our girls were entrepreneurs, and they just had they had a lot of things that they wanted to get off their chest. They just didn't know how to do it. So we did everything from father and daughter dances, and we're very creative. Like our things were not regular.
That's right.
Let me give you an example. We did a father-daughter dance that was the king and me. I don't know how many of you all are familiar with medieval times. But we just asked. All people can do is say no. We called medieval times, and the king and the princess came, and the knights came, and were at our father-daughter dance, and they welcomed everybody. And so everything that we did with excellence. You know what I mean? We did, whatever we did, we tried to ensure that it was impactful for the community as well. So throughout those years, we were able to we did a girls symposium. And that was open to the public. We wanted to empower young ladies and give them tools to be successful. So we had, different career fields come in. We had college campuses, we had everybody in one space. And we ended up getting grants for that. It got so big and so impactful. Absolutely. Toyota, the Toyota dealership, actually gave us money to put that on. We started getting grants from around the county and from different organizations, and different food establishments would give us our lunches or donate all the breakfast. It just got really big. And once the girls started seeing that, hey, if we just do the ask, guess what? All they can do is say no. And so I am proud to say that almost all of my Girl Scouts are either enrolled in college or just recently graduated. So through the years, I've been able to I have one other young lady. She is a senior in high school right now, and she's getting her gold award, which is the highest award that you can get in Girl Scouting. And so I'm just excited that her mother has still allowed me to mentor her, even though I'm not her leader, to get her through that process. So, it is important for these girls, and not for just girls, but all of our youth, to have a dream and have a goal.
Yes.
And utilize whatever your community has to get there. Like, don't say, I wish. If you say, I wish, okay, let's make a path to get there. That is one thing. If the girls had a goal or a dream, all right, let's direct that path. What does that look like for you? And then we would implement that. So I'm just excited to see these young ladies, grow and become what they've dreamed.
Well, and that's just have an impact on them. That's all that, I mean, you were just a conduit, right? And you're just giving them that, vision for themselves, like, and then just go for it. And, and that's what we need more of in this world right now, is people who are leading, right, in such a way where they're making impact and influence that greatly affects the whole community. So your service yes. And so Rochelle on the LinkedIn side, hey, Rochelle, thank you so much for being here on LinkedIn. She was like, your yes. And that was 14 years, right? She loves that because that's the beauty of what we can do, and the commitment and the dedication that you had, even when they got older, all right, to still be able to mentor them. Latasha, hey, Latasha, she is on the YouTube side. Hi from Maryland. She's so proud of you. Okay. So thank you so much, Latasha and Rochelle, for being here live with us tonight. And then Glenroy said, being regular is the same as accepting mediocrity. Okay. So to strive for excellence allows youth to have an example and opportunity to thrive in greatness and success. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Right. So, we're always going to give our best. All right. Whatever our best is, because not everybody's best is going to look like somebody else's best, but at least you could say, I did my best. And so that is truly commendable. And I want to, again, thank you for impacting so many young girls. All right. That definitely need it. And so now, y'all, this is like gonna blow your mind. Okay. All right. Because Kelly is not simply just living. All right. She just said, you know what else can I do? What else can I be doing? Okay, so tell us what you're doing now. All right, just a little bit about that. And let's just, we'll kind of walk through that together.
Okay, so what I'll start with, and I gotta give them a shout out because I haven't really talked about them yet, but because this is what enables me to do my now. So I am excited to, in this phase of my life, I'm married to an amazing husband, Henry Smith. I know he's watching somewhere. He should be.
But, he should be.
And together we have 4 beautiful daughters and 3 amazing grandchildren. And so with that, after I retired, I was like, hey, what is my next? My husband was like, we're both retired. Let's go relax. Let's go put our, let's move off somewhere and just relax and enjoy the rest of our life. And so I began, I actually started teaching. I got a call one day and was like, hey, we need someone to help our students with college and career readiness. And so that was on the middle school level. And I was like, okay, well, I'm retired. I can go do that. Right. And so I started doing that. And as I started doing that, I started looking at our kids, and I realized they needed much more than just the education they were receiving in the classroom. The school that I worked at specifically, there were so many outside influences that hindered them being able to learn. And they came to school with so many weights and think there's so much weight that they had to carry. Many of us as adults didn't have those experiences or even have to necessarily carry that type of weight. And so for those young kids, between 11 and 13, 14 years old, to be walking into school with that, and we still expecting them to learn with excellence, it became very difficult for them. And so what I would do in my classroom, I would reach out to different organizations and network with like my sorority and provide experiences to those kids that wouldn't necessarily have them without that networking experiences or the community stepping in. And that experience led me to say, you know what? Instead of starting a brand new career in education, because I was looking at it. My mother is still an educator. My sister out in Vegas is an educator. Just so many people around me was in education. I was like, you know what? This is my thing. I'm going to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to run for county council. I know that's a big leap.
That's like, listen, y'all. Okay, I know one thing for sure. When a woman veteran, and I say that because we were in an environment where we had to operate in a high stressful environment and make a decision just like that, from like somebody tells you something, you probably got like a couple of minutes maybe to make a decision, or it would definitely impact, and make a huge, difference, either positive or negative, whichever way, right? But you decide like then and there, like, nah, y'all, okay, like, yeah, it's great to mentor and to provide a safe environment while they're at school, but you looked at it as a whole. You looked at it from the strategic view, right? As a whole, you were like, no, the environmental factors have to change. In order for that to change, I'm going to step up. And I'm just saying, Queen, let me get my clapper, okay, right here. Okay, I'm just saying right now that you have made a declaration that now you want to provide, all right, something where they can see the changes actually happening. So you just said, hey, I'm going to just run for, this office, and which is the city council, right?
Yes, for the county council.
Council of Anne Arundel County, right? Which is a county that we reside in too.
Yes.
So, okay, so how does that go? How does one get there?
Well, I get there with the support of my family. I'm going to be honest.
There we go.
It takes a whole village to get us to that point. So honestly, I talked it over with my husband, and again, he was a special agent. And so he worked with the leaders of Congress, and he knew he was on the Senate side, and he recognized how much work our leaders had to do. And he knew if I said yes, what that impact was going to have on our life. And so I'm thankful for that, because he was able to give me an insight that, maybe some people who throw their name in the hat don't have. And so, after a lot of discussion, he was like, listen, I'm here to support whatever your thoughts are, or whatever you want to do or move forward. And so, we just dived in and we started connecting with the community. And so what I love about the county council is a lot of people may not understand or, really recognize what the levels of government are. But you have your federal government, you have your state government, and then you have your local government. Your day to day, you need your local government. They're the ones that are going to support you when you need it. They're the ones you call when you need assistance. You call your local government. They're the ones that provide the budget for where, as a council, we vote on the budget, where your money goes. Those are really big things that the local government has to do. And so we also are tasked with ensuring that the people that you're representing, they have what they need, and you're their advocate, you're their voice.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times people may say, nothing's ever going to change. I need this, but I don't know who to call. That is why I wanted to jump in the race, because I saw that there were so many needs that were needed, especially for our youth. And I wanted to ensure that the area, my district that I live in, that our students and our youth had a space that they knew that they could call me. I'm going to be honest. The current county councilman, Pete Smith, he was who I followed. I say that because when my Girl Scouts called him, 14 years ago or 12 years ago, he answered the call. We were like, hey, they need support. And he showed up and he never left. And I said, you know what? That is the type of county councilwoman that I want to be for my whole district. I want to be the person that you're like, hey, each community, there needs to be a stop sign in my community. Hey, let me call my county council. There's just so many areas. The way our districts are set up, every single neighborhood is different. Yeah. Everybody has a different need. Yeah. And it really is my goal to go to all the communities and that's what I've been doing since I launched in July. Literally just going into the neighborhoods and talking with the residents and letting them get to know my face, because it is important when something happens that they know who to call. And it's nothing like having a neighbor, right? You don't know that your neighbor might be able to fix you have a fence down. You need support. Guess what? You may not have the money to do so, but your next door neighbor, might be able to help you do it, but you're too afraid to reach out. And my goal is for us to be a community, District 1 to be a community. And that means helping each other when the state, the federal, and the local government lets you down. Let's help each other and support each other. And so my goal is to get people out of their home and to support. That is what I am doing. Come out the house.
Come out the house, girl.
Come out the house.
I'm telling you. And
don't do life alone.
Here. Yes, Kelly, I'm telling you right now. Okay, first of all, we're going to go for Glenn Roy real quick. And he says, shout out to Henry, okay, and to you for acknowledging his contribution and sacrifice for the success of your endeavors and your family. So many husbands go unacknowledged in this regard. I am sure he appreciates it. You know what I mean? So I love that you called him out, because I mean, this is a heavy lift, Queen. But when you got your spouse and your family, your friends, and those in the community are supporting you and showing up, all right. And then we have Natasha Shaver-Kest from the YouTube side. She said the amount of people Kelly impacts with her generosity, inspiration, and mentorship is astounding. It's impossible for her to be anything but great. Thank you, Queen Rochelle, for showcasing Kelly. Absolutely. I mean, she was going to be on the show, y'all. Like, I don't know how we were going to get her there, but she is here tonight. So I absolutely love this. And then we have Frederick Shields, Jacksonville. He's saying, is that a man or a woman?
Yes, it is. It's shaky. I know he's about to laugh.
He said, awesome soldier.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, he is a battle. Yes, he is.
Wow.
He
and then Lindsay, of course, he's retired too.
Yes, he is.
Okay. So, we are in good company tonight, y'all. And of course, Lindsay puts up Kelly Smith Cares. Okay. So tell us about this mantra or the word cares, because I think that's important to share with the audience too.
Okay, well, when I gathered my team together and I decided to run for this office, I knew I couldn't do it alone. And actually, I love Lindsay. She fellow veteran. She is my campaign manager. And we were sitting there just trying to figure out what fits for me. And I will also say my daughter, I got my youngest daughter involved. She is my fundraising. And everyone's like, oh my God, why would you choose somebody so young to be your fundraising chair? I'm like, listen, all she can do is succeed.
Yeah.
what if she, if she needs support, we decided to build this as a, a community campaign. And so I'm like, listen, let's get our young people involved. And Lindsay was 100% on board. And so when we were trying to decide what I wanted to say and what I wanted to represent me, honestly, I just care. This was not, I had these aspirations of being being in politics. I just care. And that's as simple as it is. I wanted people to know that when you see me, you're getting my authentic self. And I'm not, trying to get the most likes. I'm not trying to, get a higher position. My goal is just to support the community that I'm in. And that is the reason why I started running. And so when we thought about it, it was just like, Kelly Smith just cares. I mean, that's all I don't know what else to say. That is why I am running, because I care about my community. I care about the families. I care about the struggles that we all have. That is the reason why I'm running. And so that is the reason why we came up with something that simple.
Yeah.
Kelly cares.
Yeah. And it works, because not a lot of people in the space that you're in talk about that. So, I absolutely love that it is in alignment with who you are, and that you are sticking to your values of and all that you have done throughout your entire life, to help you in this next chapter of your life, which is this space that you're entering into. And yes, y'all, she is in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. So we've got Lois Daniel says, two hearts to our son Henry. And Frederick says, oh my gosh, Shaky, 24 years.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So, we also had Antonio Downing. I see you on the Facebook side, so thank you for watching as well. There is so much to be said about leadership, okay? Because I think really what this is a demonstration of is leadership. So, what are your, I would say, like pearls of wisdom, or maybe some of the things that you go by as a leader? Like, what is your non-negotiables? Kind of, what are you set in stone about?
I will say there's two things that I am set in stone. Even as I lead, being the leader of my organization, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority. And I'm in a place where I am surrounded by women who are just bosses in every aspect of their life. And so when you get up to lead, you're like, hey, what do I add? What is my value to them? What am I projecting that is causing them to want to follow me?
Yeah.
And so I always say, just be the change that you want to see. When you walk in a room, be the person that you want to see given back to you. So listen, some people just want to be heard. So listen. Some people just want to know that you care. So just care. So I know life is hard. We all have our own situations that we're personally dealing with. But when you show up as your best self. And if you can't do that, it's okay to take a step back. It's never wrong to say, hey, I need a moment. But when you show up, if you are a leader, you always need to lead with excellence and be the leader that you want somebody to be to you. So that means you're not talking down to people, because just because you're, you may have a differing of opinions, that's okay. We're all entitled to our opinions. But sometimes people just need to be heard. And so my other non-negotiable is show up and prove. So listen, I might talk a good game, but unless you see me out there doing the work, you're not going to believe me. And so that is what my charge is to all of the leaders out there. Don't just talk about it. Get out there and do it first. Give somebody something to follow. And so those are the two things that I lead by. It may sound simple, but that's just what it is. Show people the care that you want to have.
Yeah. It's simple, but it's hard. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
hard to show up you're in your best light on some days, right? It's
Mhm.
hard to be able to be kind to somebody else. But I tell you, we're very much the same mindset, right? Is when you are a leader, all eyes are on you. You are in a glass bowl. What means is everybody is looking in, and whatever you're projecting, people are going to sense that, and you're either retracting or repelling or attracting. All right. So, you always have to think of it that way if you are a leader in some capacity. And I think we're all leaders in our own right. We're the leaders of our homes, we're leaders at work, in our careers, in our businesses. And shoot, if it's just you, you're the leader of yourself. Okay. And so sometimes we do need to take a step back and do an assessment and really think about, how am I showing up in here? All right. So I appreciate you sharing that, and it is also, part of that, we do talk about the wellness aspect because listen, you are doing a lot. Okay. You got a lot going on behind the scenes. So, what kind of rituals, maybe some habits that you are using right now to take care of yourself, especially as you go into the running season,
Mhm.
right? So are there anything that you're watching or being mindful of right now?
My rest.
Mm,
You can't show up with your best self if you're tired and you're
yeah,
exhausted. And so, thankfully, I'm in a space where um, I'm able to get my rest. And I try to have a cutoff, so that I can be focused on just me and my family. So usually, I get my 8 to 10 hours a night. Like
yeah,
that is important to
yeah,
get your rest. It may sound, people are like, oh, I don't need that many hours of sleep, but your body needs it. And
yeah,
so that's one thing that I ensure I get my rest. And that is really what I choose to do every day.
yeah,
So
yeah. We're recovering at night, and then there's a lot of research and studies about sleep, and the recovery process of what you need to do, because when you go in your day, you want to be alert, you want to be present, you want to be at least able to provide like 2 cents in your mind, that they come together. I can always tell when somebody's off, and life is always life, and right, there are days when we don't get the sleep that we need.
right.
But, as leaders, being very intentional about how we are setting up our day, because we know that the responsibility is going to be heavy, right? So, these are things that, can always play into who we are and how we want to show up. And so I absolutely appreciate that. And also, going through this season, which is a year, right? It's a full year,
It is a full year.
it's a full
Um,
year of campaigning, y'all. Okay.
mhm.
And I didn't know this until I, met a few, and I had some clients in the political space as well, that I didn't know it was a year long um, campaign. And so I was like, whoo. So, it's like step by step. Do you have a plan of action of what you're going to do? Have you and your team already set out like the first 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? Can you tell us a little bit about, what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we absolutely have a plan. I have a phenomenal team that ensures that I'm staying on the right track. And sometimes you have to assess where we are and regroup and do things different sometimes. But again, my team is very flexible, so I love that. We really, my our plan right now and what we've been doing for these 3 months was really just to get in the community, get in the spaces so that people knew that I was even running.
Mhm.
And yes, our elected officials, the different people that are already in office, they knew, but I needed the residents of District 1 to know that I was running. And so now we're going to just kind of move, for the rest, the primaries in June. And so we're going to be out here door knocking, fundraising, and just ensuring that, I get to know the needs of our community. We launched a listening tour where we were going into different spaces and just hearing, hearing what was going on. And that was very beneficial for our team. So really, the plan is very simple. Fundraise, because y'all, it costs money. It costs actual coins. You can't just want to run for an office. Your campaign is funded by your community. So I didn't realize how important it was to get out there. So that's literally what our plan from now until to June is to fundraise and to knock on doors so you get to know who I am.
Yes. Well, you know what, y'all, listen, like, get these coins together, all right? If you're in Anne Arundel County, District 1, even if you're not, and you just want to support Kelly, just go to her Facebook page, y'all. You can go to Lindsay's Facebook page too. She's on there, Lindsay Kinslow, and they will direct you into the right place so that way you can support however you can, door knocking, being volunteers, that kind of thing. But this has been a full hour. I already knew we were going to go all the way up to the full hour. Okay, so I mean, I thought like an hour was just like brushing the surface, really. But I do want us to come to a close here. So what are your last and final thoughts to the audience tonight?
So before I get off the call, I definitely would be remiss if I did not just say thank you to everybody who joined tonight. I'm saying that because it is what fuels me to keep moving and to have my best friend, my bestie pop on the call, and all, the people that I, Shaky and Adam, and then literally my line sisters. They have been with me for 27 years. We talk almost every week.
Right.
My friends, my family, I appreciate you all for being here and supporting me through this, because it wasn't just a me decision. It was like it impacted me and everybody around me. And so you guys are still there and you're showing up. So I see you, Aunt D and Aunt Carolyn. I see you guys all on the call. And so for that, I just want to say thank you. And so I think where I would love to leave with everybody tonight is that my hope is that I energize the next person to get out and do something. It is not easy to put your name out there and to be seen and have the public, everyone now has they have an opinion of who Kelly Smith is. And so, but for me, it was worth it because I know what I bring to the table. I know that I can support my community and I can, impact others to do the same. And so when I say what I leave with tonight is no matter how small it is, no matter if you see something and you want to do something, just go try it. It might seem a little difficult. It might seem hard. And it very well may be, but push yourself to your limit and don't give up and don't be afraid to fail. Because I failed many times, but I've gotten back up. And so I just tell you all tonight, don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah. I love that, y'all. Please give her a round of applause on that final thought. Okay. Now, I have the last question, y'all, because I always ask my guests this question because it's so intriguing to me when I get the answers. And so, my goal is to get to my 80th birthday surrounded by a lot of family and friends. And there are certain things that I want them to say about me. Okay. There are certain things. So I'm going to ask you, if God gives you 80 years and you have your birthday party and everyone is around you, what would you want them to say about you?
I would want my family and friends to say that she never gave up. I want them to say that she loved hard. And I want them to say that she did the best that she could do. Those would be the three things that I would want them to say about me.
And you know what? They're going to say all that and a lot more. So first, I want to thank you for your yes on this show and being such a SLAYMAZING featured on the Slay to Success talk show. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who showed up tonight. So we had Carolyn Ward, we had Decorius Vines, Adam Lee, Taylor Ray, Lindsay Kinslow, Crystal Allen, Savita Sutton, Ada Bunn, Samantha Wilson, Ashley Daniels, Glenn Roy Cole, Lois Daniels, Rochelle Allen, Latasha Pate. We also had Natasha, Shaver Kess, Frederick Shields. Going down the list, y'all. Okay, Lindsay. Okay, so you got some shine. You got yes from your mom, and you've got we love you, Kelly. Lindsay's like you're an inspiration, Kelly. And then we also had Agape Early Learning Center. So proud of you, Kelly. And then on the Facebook side, I had Lindsay, of course, and my husband, Dominique. Thank you, Dominique, for watching in, and Antonio Downing. So this has been such a great hour. If you like this show, y'all, go ahead and go back to the Slay to Success talk show and go ahead and subscribe and share this episode out to as many people as you can so that way we can get a lot more eyes on Kelly tonight. Also, I will be back here next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another SLAYMAZING guest that we will have, and we'll kind of talk through yet another inspirational story. So as you know, this is where we set out for the week. We're going to go out there and we are going to keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very, very soon. Please stay safe, be protected, and we love you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.